Hi, this is Les-Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. I'm pretty sure it was Yogi Berra who once said that it was deja vu all over again. Well, that's how I felt at Andrew Berry's press conference today as he was introduced as the general manager of the Cleveland Browns, making him, at the age of 32, the youngest GM in the history of the NFL. Cleveland media members have probably attended more press conferences that welcome coaches and general managers than media members in any other city. We get the same speeches promising the same hopes for success on and off the field. Unfortunately, all we get are the same results. Maybe this one will be different. Then again, I can't tell you why. We've got the D-man Dennis-Manoloff, More Sports and Les-Levine is on the air. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les-Levine, it's a Wednesday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les-Levine into its 24th consecutive year, seen exclusively on cleveland.com. The D-man Dennis-Manoloff is here. A little late start, D-man. 5-yard penalty, false start.
Your opening comment was worth the wait. Truer words have not been spoken since your previous
The last time
comment.
we did this, a year or so ago. So, what did we learn from this? I learned nothing, by the way.
I'm past that point now. I don't award anything for press conferences. I just say, let's move on to the actual things that matter. And I know these guys realize it too. They understand. You don't care whether Andrew Berry wins the presser or Stefanski won it or whatnot. It just what matters is, are you going to win games?
Yeah.
Are you
We're
confident?
not going to know for
are you
9
gonna win
months.
games? And will Haslam stay out of it? I mean, in all honesty, we've got to pray as Browns support. I mean, I'm a Browns supporter, but I pray for the sake of Browns fans that Haslam will stay out of the way for at least long enough to see if these guys, if their plan works.
Does it concern you, and we'll talk about this a little later, we want to talk about a blockbuster trade in baseball, which does not involve the Indians. Does it bother you in any way that you got a 32, this franchise, to me, needs somebody probably more mature than somebody at 32. On the other hand, Berry seems sharp enough and smart enough to maybe change that narrative around.
Well, if I'm going to have young guys, I want them to be highly educated, and these young guys are in Berry, Stefanski, and DePodesta. Actually, I don't know how young DePodesta is, but they've got a nice educational background for sure. They know how to crunch numbers. They have master's degrees, theoretically, in analytics. Okay, fine. But the good news about Berry is this: is multiple. Number one, he was a former player. You know, he played at college, at the college level at Harvard. Number two, he has cut his teeth under some football guys, such as Bill Polian. So it's not like this is a guy who has never learned under anybody who is respected in the game, as it were. So I think that Andrew Berry should be given a chance by all of us, and I think we will, to see what happens here. I would assume that his communications with Stefanski are going to be good. I assume they're going to be on the same page. I pray that's the case. We know that DePodesta and Stefanski will be on the same page. Will DePodesta and Berry get along fine? Again, I'm sensing they will.
Well,
we'll have
my guess
to
is
see.
he wouldn't have signed off on it if he didn't think he'd get along with them.
Yeah.
DePodesta.
I mean, I think it's pretty clear that DePodesta has a lot of power in this organization.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Dennis-Manoloff with us. And D-Man, you came alive in the playoffs. You're picking winners for cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. Little shaky start, but you came alive when you needed to.
Yeah, the regular season was rough. Division Series 1, 2, and 1, I'm thinking more of the same. But, wild card round 1, 2, and 1. Divisional round 3 and 1, conference games 2 and 0, and Super Bowl 1 and 0. Had the Chiefs winning by 4 in my pick for the paper and .com. would have been 4
till the end of the end
game.
Game.
If the running back Williams slides down at the 5. Right. But that's fine. He needed to score a touchdown.
A win is a win. Yes. 216-575-0403. All right, let's turn to baseball here for a couple of minutes. Dodgers made a big trade with the Boston Red Sox, and it basically is this. They get Mookie-Betts. Dodgers get Mookie-Betts and David Price. I don't know how they got both of them. Here you see it. Alex Verdugo from the Dodgers goes to the Red Sox, and so does the pitcher you see there, Brusdar Graterol from the Twins. And the Twins wind up getting Kenta Maeda from the Dodgers. Kind of complicated. There's some pretty big names there. I can't believe that Boston was able to unload salaries like that.
Yeah, and we know that Boston sent some money along the way to help, defray the costs of those contracts. We don't know how much, but it's a little bit disconcerting for MLB when a team with the pedigree and the seemingly bottomless pit of cash, such as the Boston Red Sox, right, is in a salary dump.
Yeah, but
that's not necessarily good for the game.
No, but haven't we always said that you wanted them on equal footing with everybody else?
Yeah. I mean, right. I'm saying for the health of the game fiscally, it's a little nerve-wracking when one of the bigger names dumps salary. But, as you say, the Red Sox are coming off a year, I believe, when they were 84 and 78.
Right.
They pretty much punted on this upcoming season with this move, unless Verdugo turns into an MVP. Then you've swapped out one MVP for another, but you still lost David Price. I think the Red Sox realistically looked at this and said the Yankees are discernibly better than we are. The Tampa Bay Rays are better than we are. We're not going to be challenging the Yankees or even the Rays if we hang on to Mookie-Betts, and we're not going to re-sign him.
I think his salary is $27 million this year.
Yeah, and I think the intention, it's pretty obvious that the intention for the Dodgers is to retain the services of Mookie beyond this year.
Right.
I like the fact that Mookie and Price are out of the American League, but Brian reminded me in the pre-show meeting that Kenta Maeda went to the Twins. I had forgotten about that as part of the blockbuster element to it. And Maeda goes to a team that really needs a starting pitcher.
Yeah, and that's in the Indians division. So two questions.
So it does hurt a little bit.
Here's the Minnesota Twins rotation. You just mentioned it, Barrios, Odorizzi, Maeda, Pineda, who's still suspended for 39 or 40 games. Homer Bailey, the former Red. All of them had winning record. I know wins don't count like they used to, apparently. I don't understand why, or why not, but they all had records above 500. So two questions. Number one, Minnesota strengthening the pitching staff. What does that do to the Indians? Number two, Mookie-Betts, with that kind of the huge money going to him and probably will go to him at the end of the season, what does that do for the Lindor situation?
Yeah, I think that Frankie Lindor is out of play with the Los Angeles Dodgers. And when you realize that Frankie Lindor's market is limited to begin with, because number one, you have to have a lot of cash at your disposal, and number two, you have to have the prospects.
And the need at shortstop.
And the need. The Dodgers were one of those teams that checked those boxes. So I think it's safe to say they are out of the mix for Lindor. You sense that they really wanted to make a splash heading into this season. They made a run, a definitive run at Anthony Rendon. Rendon said no thanks. He went to the Angels. Then they obviously inquired about Lindor. There was smoke. There was fire to that smoke. And I think the Indians asked for too much in the Dodgers' eyes, which is fine.
Yeah.
The Indians should have done that.
Dodgers also trade Jock Peterson to the Los Angeles Angels.
Your guy, Jock Peterson. Yeah, it makes the Angels better, of course. But the Dodgers really did. I mean, we found out today and yesterday when the news was breaking that the Dodgers really did want to make. I mean, they weren't just content with Rendon and Lindor saying no, and then we're going to ride into 2020 with a pretty good team. They wanted to bring in some star power, and they did it.
Yesterday when Bud Shaw was here, across the wire came the results of USA Today and their poll as to how many wins each team would have. And they had the Minnesota Twins winning 94 games. They won 100 or 101 last year.
101.
101. So they had them at 94, and they had the Indians 8 behind that at 86. And the White Sox, who I thought were much improved, are down at about 83, I think. So this makes Minnesota even tougher.
Yes, it does, because Maeda is a quality pitcher. Their lineup, Minnesota's lineup is stacked. It's an American League lineup in the truest sense of the word. They're going to mash. They're going to sit and spin, hit for the, swing for the fences. Entertainment purposes only. Or if I'm in Presque Isle, I'm betting the over on the White Sox win total. I know that even low 80s is a significant jump, but I love the White Sox lineup. Their pitching does leave something to be desired, certainly in their rotation beyond Giolito and Keuchel, but they can hit. They're going to hit home runs too, especially in that ballpark. So
you talk about Minnesota and their lineup. How about the lineup of the Los Angeles Angels now? They don't have much pitching, but look at the lineup they have.
Yeah. We were talking about that with Dave Bacon before the show. Ohtani and Pujols and Trout and Upton and Rendon, and now you add Peterson and Andrelton Simmons, even Jason Castro at catcher. Joe Madden is going to be able to score runs. The question is, will his pitching hold up? Because his rotation leaves some stuff to be desired.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. The D-Man, Dennis-Manoloff, is with us. You can email us during the show at real-levine@gmail.com. You see that at the bottom of your screen. The Ohio Lottery has paid out over $1 billion in winnings over the past 6 months. People are winning in record numbers, and winning is happening all over the state of Ohio. Play an Ohio Lottery game and play it today. You can follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/more-sports-and-les-levine with new content posted each and every day. We'll respond to your responses on questions of the day, and we'll print them out on the screen as we continue on through the show. When we come back, we'll take a look at Andrew Berry's introductory press conference. Anybody care? Are you tired of it? Same old story, same every year. We'll take a break, come on back in a moment. More Sports and Les-Levine, seen exclusively on cleveland.com.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions, or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
I want to say this very clearly because I know a lot has been rumored and written and said about this topic. We will be a scouting-centered front office because I've always believed and continue to believe scouting to be the lifeblood of roster building in the NFL. But we also are going to incorporate information and research and insights into our decision-making. I was thinking about it as we were watching the Super Bowl this past weekend, and the best team in the NFC and the San Francisco 49ers, the best team in our own division, the Baltimore Ravens, and the best team in the NFC East, the organization that I came from with the Philadelphia Eagles, are all industry leaders in this space. And we would be silly not to push on every area that could give us a competitive advantage as we make decisions. Lastly, and most importantly, I want to be clear that everyone in the organization, starting with the front office, our coaching staff, our support staff, and our players, will focus with immediate urgency on the things within their role that drive toward winning. That's the standard by which we're all judged and the standard by which we're all held accountable. And I look forward to working through that challenge on a daily basis beginning today. Like, vision encompasses a couple of different areas. One, how we're actually going to build the team and play the game. You know, Kevin, for instance, on the offensive side of the ball, has talked about his belief in the marriage of the run game and the passing game. How we're going to be quarterback friendly, and how we're going to emphasize positions across the roster that really impact the passing game. From a cultural standpoint, you guys have all heard this idea of collaboration, making sure that we get the best ideas, the best perspectives as we make any major decision, whether it's on the roster, on the field, or across football operations, so that we can ensure that we're driving the organization towards excellence. And then the other piece is how we actually behave, how we treat one another, not just at the senior levels, but the staffs below us, and making sure that we're working cooperatively, we're working progressively, and most importantly, we're working hard on a daily basis. You know, coming back and having the opportunity to work with Paul. Paul is incredibly intelligent. He has a wealth of executive experience. He's a great strategic and thought partner, and most importantly, high integrity, great guy. So I'm looking forward to working with him again. Listen, you can never have enough great people in your organization. You never have enough great people in your football operation. And I know that I have two of the best working with me today.
All right, so he was.
Why'd you do that to me, Les and John and Brian and the rest of the crew? Yeah, don't tempt me. You keep showing me that, and I'm going to start falling for the banana in the tailpipe, which I vowed I would not do again. He makes a lot of sense with what he says. I start to say, that sounds great. Yes.
However, early on in what he said in that video was when he said, I want to make this perfectly clear, that was a direct response knowing that the question was going to come about analytics. And that was the measured response by the whole organization, I would assume, because I don't think people understand what analytics is.
Exactly, and I don't blame Barry, Stefanski, DePodesta for bristling when they hear about analytics has overtaken this organization and whatnot. A guy like Andrew Barry's probably saying, "Wait a minute, I played the game at the college level." Okay, I didn't play it. I didn't play Madden in my dorm room. I actually played college football. So they probably are annoyed by it, but they understand why it's coming their way because they are such smart guys. But when I listen to Barry in just that clip, I wonder where that leaves two guys in particular, Kareem Hunt and OBJ.
Well, they responded to that.
They did?
I think, so did Haslam.
Okay.
I think, just paraphrasing now, I think they want them both here. I don't think they're going to the phones and calling to trade Beckham away. But I think they've been given their last chance. I think they've been told already, face to face, that if it happens one more time, we'll live without you guys.
Yeah, the fit in or fit out, as LeBron would tweet.
Yeah, but do you see any reason to get rid of them now? I don't.
No. I guess you have to wait and see what the NFL will do with Hunt's traffic stop, if anything. I mean, it doesn't sound like the police are going to pursue anything beyond the speeding ticket. Does the NFL react to Hunt's comment in the cruiser where he admitted, if I had been tested, I would have failed? That's possible, but then you would get I would assume, a players' union backlash saying, hey, this is something he said in a cruiser in the offseason. He shouldn't be held accountable for it. And there was no test.
I think his
that was
suspension
flung.
had nothing to do with in-season or off-season. It's in or out.
You mean
I think
Hunt by the NFL?
Yeah, I think Hunt was in a situation where if it was going to come down on him, it was going to come down whether it was in February or September.
A good point. Regarding OBJ, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in the Stefanski-OBJ meeting. Now, did Barry say, I thought I caught it, was Barry involved in that too? or was it just Stefanski and OBJ?
I think it was Stefanski and OBJ.
But that would have been fascinating because if you're Stefanski, it wouldn't take you more than 15 minutes to get caught up to speed on OBJ and all his shenanigans.
Right.
You probably were able to chronicle it from Minnesota, as some of your own players were saying. Look at this guy. What is he doing now on national TV with this or that? But I would have loved to have known if Stefanski said to OBJ, look, man, we can't have this anymore. I mean, we know that you want to be you, but it's all about we from now on. And not only do we want you to be more of a Brown in the offseason, but when the season starts, it's all about the team.
Sure. And the other thing you say is, look, if you're Stefanski, you say, look, I was with another organization. All we heard about is how bad the Cleveland organization and some of its players were, and I'm not going to have it done on my watch.
That's a great point. You could pull that card, and what is OBJ going to do to challenge that? You could say, yeah, we were over here in Minnesota, and we couldn't help but wonder what was going on in Cleveland, and we saw the stuff you were doing, and while we like you to be we know you have a personality. It's not like we want to bottle it and put it in a storage compartment. We need a team first guy.
Well, you got hot tubs at the Northeast Factory Direct. You say, well, it's still wintertime. Yeah, it's the best time to buy, to be honest with you. And you'll pay half price or less at Northeast Factory Direct. Whether it's kitchen cabinets, furniture. Alex started this business 20 years ago. One piece of furniture in a small garage in Lakewood, Ohio. And look what he's turned it into. One of the great merchandising venues in all of Northeast Ohio, all of the state of Ohio for that matter. West 140th Street in Cleveland, Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, as well as Freeway Drive. That's in Macedonia. NortheastFactoryDirect.com is the place to go. You're going to save money because Alex passes his savings on to you. We'll take a break and come on back in a moment. Will Andrew Berry's second stint with the Cleveland Browns be any different? Remember, 1-31. Back in a moment. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Celebrate Naturestone's 30-year anniversary with a free Naturestone floor. During 2020, we will be giving away 30 free floors to 30 very lucky customers to say thank you for making Naturestone the best concrete flooring solution for garages, basements, and more. Call or visit naturestone.com today to register to win, and we'll send you a copy of our new buyer's guide absolutely free. There's no purchase necessary. Winners will be chosen monthly. With over 30 million square feet installed for more than 60,000 customers, it's easy to see why I always say it's not just a floor. Wow, it's Naturestone.
Just because I'm not $1 million price doesn't mean I'm worthless. We middle prices get zero respect. We're worth hundreds, even thousands. I mean, I'm a handsome bag of money. And there's $110 million worth of us in the Ohio Lottery Cash Celebration scratch-off alone. Plus, the odds of winning are off the chart. 1 in 3.
Play the $30 cash celebration for a chance to win up to $1 million.
You see?
Oh, and lots of prizes between $100 and $1,000.
Everybody wants $1 million. Would $500 be so bad? Come on.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
You know, the reality of it is that stretch was a very painful period for our fans, for the city, and for everybody internally in the organization. You know, I can assure you that all of us that were there during that time period, we were equally disappointed with the results during that time. Now, the one thing I can say is that the team, the organization, it's at a much different state than it was heading into that 2016 season, whether it's the foundation of the roster, you know, the overall strategy. It's no secret that, you know, the strategy at the time was to accumulate assets, whether it's cap space, picks, and players that would lead to a foundation of long-term success. But I can assure you that winning is at the forefront of everyone's minds in the organization, and we're looking forward to pursuing that over the next several months. Winning is always important. Winning was important then. It's important now. It will always be important. The strategy, the state of the team was at a much different state, and certainly accumulating resources, accumulating assets, that was certainly part of the approach. But winning was also still a focus, and as I mentioned earlier, we were all internally disappointed with the results during that time period.
It's obvious that we would try to compare when Andrew was here versus now, but to me, it's a totally different situation. Let's start with, we didn't have a quarterback then, we have a quarterback now, and that just means a world of difference. We didn't have the good core group of young players that we have now, so we're in a much different situation than we were then. Andrew was responsible for picking some of those players, i.e. Miles, Baker, et cetera, Denzel, that form the core of our team. I think we have a really good head coach in Kevin-Stefanski. And like I've said numerous times, and you all probably get tired of saying it, just the way this group will work together, and we had a day-and-a-half off-site meeting Monday afternoon, night, and all day yesterday, will be distinctly different than before. So high degree of confidence. Obviously, Kevin and Andrew are both young. They'll have bumps in the road. NFL is hard, as you all know, but high degree of confidence. We have the right people in place.
With Andrew Berry, what I was thinking? He's talking about when he was here, they were 1-31 in 2016. And what I'm thinking of, they're 1-31 that year. At the same time, the Indians are in the World Series Game 7 against the Cubs, 2016, and the Cavaliers are winning it all with LeBron James. What a combination of good and bad in Cleveland sports.
And you had mentioned, too, that it's, I guess you could say, rare, because it's never happened, that a guy who was associated with 1-31 returns to that franchise as the general manager.
In 1 year.
But again, I'm clean slating it. There's no papers here that don't have numbers on it. But I'm clean slating it. Yeah, I don't need to hear any more from Jimmy-Haslam, to be quite honest. I would love to see him disappear for a long time from the quoted word, because what is he going to say?
No.
What's he going to say until they win games?
I think what he needs to do is have some self-understanding that people are not buying into what he's saying. They're Browns fans. They're always going to be Browns fans. But for him to guarantee something, like I guarantee we'll have more communication or alignment or whatever else, that may be, but the reality is he gets pretty tired of losing quickly. And in a year, he's blowing it off and starting anew. And every time you do that, forget the money that it costs him, which is considerable. You're not just paying the head coach. You're paying staffs. You're paying a lot of different people and bringing in new players and so on. But I'm not sure people have the faith in him that they'd like to have. They'll come running back when it's time to do that, but I don't think they like what they see.
Agreed. I know they don't like what they see, what they have seen under Haslam, but we'll see how this goes. I'm glad the press conferences, by and large, for the big boys are over, and we can just look forward to first the combine and then the draft.
Well, the way the NFL spreads it out, the year is in almost no time.
Right. I mean, and I used to sort of moan about it, but I love the NFL now so much that I like that it's a 12-month season, or a 12-month year, really. And, next up is the combine, and that'll be great. And then I don't think mini camps come before the draft. Yeah, they come after. So,
how would you like to be a Jacksonville Jaguar fan, if there is anybody? If there is any Jacksonville Jaguars. They're going to have 2 games in London back-to-back. If that was Cleveland and you're a season ticket holder, you've been forced for years to buy exhibition game tickets, and now they're going to give you 2 games in a row in London?
Yeah. And talking about how much they make more money in London than they do in Jacksonville. Very disconcerting there, to say the least. And it wasn't long ago that Jacksonville was good. In fact, weren't a couple of years ago they were battling Belichick in the playoffs.
Absolutely. 216-575-0403 if you'd like to get in with D-Man Dennis-Manoloff. Tomorrow night, Paul Hoynes will be here. Dave Bacon will have his weekend winners from mostly from Presque Isle. That'll be on Friday. We expect to have Brian Anderson with us on Monday. Brian was supposed to be with us on Monday, but he took ill, but he's has recovered nicely. Explore your interests and find a program that puts you on a path to a bright future at Tri-C. They offer more than 1,000 courses in 140 career and technical programs. Go to tri-c.edu for more information. When we get back, we'll hear what they had to say about Beckham and about Hunt. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant, whatever it takes.
And to keep your family comfortable, it takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling. Find them at smiley1.com.
Actually, Kevin and I have met with both individuals. Obviously with Kareem, we've communicated our expectations for him moving forward. Look, we want guys who are going to be smart, tough, and accountable, both on and off the field. Kareem understands that, and we're looking forward to him, meshing with our culture moving forward. In terms of Odell, both of us have had really great conversations. He's one of the most talented receivers in the league, and we're happy to, we're certainly happy to have him here. But again, everybody's going to have to fit into our culture in terms of being smart, tough, and accountable, and both those guys know that.
Does the culture include being here for OTAs, or is that still a player's choice?
Listen, that's by league rules, and I think Kevin has mentioned this earlier. That's that's optional. Obviously, the more time that guys can spend with their teammates, we certainly like that, but we're not going to hold that against any individual because that's their right. That is the off season, and it is an optional. It is optional.
My meeting went well. Not to get into too many specifics, but we talked about a lot of topics, and then, commitment is shown over time. So I think I have full confidence in Odell. I've spoken to him a couple times, have met with him face to face, and really looking forward to getting to know him more, him getting to know me, and then getting him in this scheme, getting him around the coaches, and then see where we go. I think every situation is different, but certainly with any player, we're going to have standards by how we behave when we're not in this building, when we are in this building. So I think Kareem understands that, and we're going to move forward, and we're going to move forward with him understanding where I stand on all those matters.
That's an internal matter, and we have and will continue to work closely with Kareem, but he knows our expectations are higher than what he showed a week or two ago.
There was a lot of records, though. You want him back.
If Kareem can lay out and follow the expectations we've laid out for him.
There's a lot with Odell from his year here. How would you describe his first season and part of this?
Absolutely. Odell's extremely talented. He was hampered by the groin injury, and we didn't listen. He could have done some things better. We could have done some things better. I think Kevin is very excited to have Odell on the team, and the surgery went well. He's rehabbing, and we look forward to having him and be a big producer for the team this year.
I was at a veiled threat by Andrew
Right
Berry.
after I said I didn't want to hear any more from Haslam.
There he is.
Oh, man.
Veiled threat about OTAs, like it's not mandatory, but you get to know your teammates better and, you know.
Not really, because they all say it. You know, all the executives say it. They want these guys to show up voluntarily, but they know what the CBA says, so they realize they can't push it too far.
But notice they don't say no comment or let's not. We're not allowed to discuss it. They feel free to discuss it. We know how they feel about it. They want them in camp.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's hard to say which one is the more concerning. You know, Hunt, given the alarming stuff that he said in the cruiser.
Right.
It's one thing to get pulled over for speeding. It's another when you got traces of marijuana in your car and the open vodka bottle, and then your comments to the officer. In addition to, you know, the worst of it, of course, being I would have failed the test.
Yeah. How about that he said I should have been in the Super Bowl? Well, yeah. Whose fault is that?
Exactly. And meanwhile, OBJ has done none of that, but he did, you know, have the incident, you know, with LSU. That's been put to bed. But to me, with OBJ, it's more about, are you going to subjugate your ego and play for the good of the team? Because the Stefanski offense, we know he likes to run. We know he likes play action and tight ends.
And he can do it with 2 receivers.
I mean, yeah, you saw Thielen and Diggs have success in a Stefanski offense, so there's room for Beckham to get his, but he has to understand when he's not getting the ball, he needs to do things that are helping the team, and also he can't complain about it.
Yeah,
he can't be vocal about it and throw up his hands.
Would you go out of your way to mention, by the way, what's your record in playoff games and how many playoff games you've been in? Or is that not a nice thing to do?
From Stefanski to Beckham?
If he's trying to point out what he expects and what he'd like to see.
I mean, that would be kind of a low blow early in the process of getting to know each other. But, you know, because Beckham could come back at him and say, well, how many games have you won as an NFL head coach? I've won none because I haven't coached yet. Right. How good was your offense against the 49ers defense in the divisional round last year? But in the back of your pocket, your mental pocket, if you're Stefanski, you sit there and go, hey, I know that wide receivers don't lead teams anywhere. Wide receivers need to be followers. They're not leaders. You can't build your offense around a wide receiver or 2. They need to be part of the solution, not the solution.
You don't think Landry can be a leader on this team? Because there aren't really any others?
Well,
I mean, Nick-Chubb is terrific, but he's quiet.
You're fair. You're right to say, okay, when I mean lead, I mean as like the face of your franchise. We're going to go as far as Jarvis-Landry takes us. That's what I mean. Right. There's a difference between that and being a leader in the clubhouse or in the locker room. Sure, Jarvis-Landry can be a veteran who shows younger guys how to work hard, how to prepare, how to study, all that other stuff.
All that stuff is something you could apply to Baker-Mayfield, too.
Yeah. I mean, we could talk all we want about Hunt and OBJ and anybody else, but this team isn't going anywhere if the Bake Show is not ready to go.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Northeast Factory Direct, 3 great locations plus the website. Before you even go to one of the locations, check out the website. Find out, well, we keep talking about how much money you're going to save, and that's a given. But find out the quality that you're going to be getting, whether it's mattresses or kitchen cabinets or furniture, hot tubs. They've got them at Northeast Factory Direct, West 140th Street on the west side, Euclid on Lakeland Boulevard, the old B&B appliance store, and Freeway Drive, that's in Macedonia. Or before you do any of that, go to northeastfactorydirect.com. Sokolowski's University Inn, I'm not going to be there till tomorrow. Keep my Joe DiMaggio type streak going every week for about 100 years or so. Mike and Bernie Sokolowski's University Inn, open 11 to 3 Monday through Friday, and Friday and Saturday nights for dinner. The James Beard Foundation Award winner, only 5 in the country get that each year, and Mike and Bernie won that about 4 years ago. Congratulations to them. That's still something to be very, very proud about. When we come back, we'll check out our Facebook question of the day and more with Dennis-manoloff. More Sports and Les-Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get Nature Stone and never replace your basement flooring again. Your concrete is uneven, damp, and not healthy. Carpet and tile don't last, breed mold and mildew, and give worthless warranties. Nature Stone permanently corrects uneven concrete and is not affected by dampness or moisture. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, there are no hidden maintenance costs. Act now and save up to 50% with our volume discount pricing. Must be installed by the end of February. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino has sports betting. Use one of our 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet and watch your favorite games on one of our many HD televisions or visit our sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Let's take a look at this date in sports history. Today, February 5th, 2020, Pete Rose applies for reinstatement to Major League Baseball in hopes of getting voted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. What do you think his chances are?
Minimal. Yeah,
minimal?
I do. And I'm glad that's up there because people have been under the misconception that the Baseball Writers Association of America has kept Rose out of the Hall of Fame.
No, he's not on the ballot. So
he's not on the ballot. He's banned from baseball, so
Right.
he can't be on the ballot.
Well, we'll see. All right, this date in Les-Levine history, 1987. Les played hundreds of baseball games at Roland School in South Euclid. The street seemed like it was about 250 feet away from home plate. Later on, Les wound up driving by, slammed on the brakes, wanted to check how far it really was. It was about 140 feet. He couldn't understand why he didn't hit more home runs. He should have taken steroids back in the day in '87.
There you go.
Might have helped. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Let's say hi to Ted, who's in Greer, South Carolina. Ted, good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. How you doing this evening?
Doing well. How about you?
I'm doing great. And Dennis, I want to get on that bandwagon and get on the ship with you so badly. I really want to go, but man, I got to tell you, it's kind of why I want to get on. I want to believe, but I feel like I've been there.
The Browns bandwagon.
The Browns, yeah.
The BBW.
You better believe
Ted,
it.
am I all right to be putting up the Heisman for now and saying, show me, don't tell me?
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
The words ring hollow now.
Exactly. And then with Haslam coming back on and doing the same thing again, and you know what I'd rather hear? I want to hear in 5 years that Andrew Berry is now not the youngest general manager, that he's the mid-level age, or that he's the oldest general manager. That's what I would love to hear one day.
Well,
if that happens, I'd pay $1 million for that.
Well, Ted, to your point, if you're mentioning Andrew Berry as the GM of the Browns 5 years from now, odds are very high there's been success.
Right.
Because if there hadn't been,
2 years is
he
a
would
lot.
have been booted.
Yeah.
True.
All right, but you're optimistic, but you're going to hold it in for a while.
Absolutely. I don't think there's any other way at this point.
Well, let me ask you this, because it was our question of the day on Facebook. Andrew Berry or John Dorsey, which one would you rather have right now?
I'm going with Andrew Berry because he's what we have now, and I got to live in the day.
Excellent. Hey, Ted, great to hear from you. Good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you. Let's be well.
Thank you. 216-575-0403. So that's our Facebook question of the day. Andrew Berry or John Dorsey, who would you rather have leading the Browns right now, D-Man?
I'm going to say what Ted said. Berry because he's here.
All right, so Michael Galandiak says Dorsey. Daniel Chick says Dorsey. Rick May says Dorsey.
Somehow I knew this was coming.
Not impressed with Barry the first time around. Not sure if there will be any improvement. Glenn Berger says Dorsey. He's a former player, NFL player, scout, and front office exec. Dorsey has 25 more years of NFL experience than Barry, whose strength is scouting and analytics. Not surprising. Don't you love Cleveland fans?
I keep going back to this, Les. Those who support Dorsey, and I don't not support him, but I'm with Ted on the idea that, all right, you made the change, let's get behind Dorsey or get behind Barry. But if Kitchens had been competent, not even great.
Yeah, you'd have 8 wins.
8 to 9 wins maybe, and Dorsey's still here.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Kitchens is still here.
Most probably. But isn't it somewhat disconcerting when you hear that, according to Landry, that the first 20 plays were scripted and after that they had no idea what they were going to do?
It doesn't surprise me at all based on what we saw, how the games unfolded.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially when they came out of halftime.
That is true. All right. If you want to call us when we're not on the air, we are on the air live from 6 until 7 p.m. Eastern Time. But if you want to call us and leave us a message, here's the number. It's the voicemail of Truth and Reason, 216-200-6650. Call anytime, leave a message, and we'll get it on the air for you on More Sports and Les-Levine. We'll come back. We'll check out some How Come Quickies and more. More Sports and Les-Levine continues with the D-Man, Dennis-Manoloff, exclusively on cleveland.com.
Get Nature's Stone and never replace your garage flooring again. Your concrete is cracked, uneven, and not safe. Paints and poly coatings don't last, are slippery, and give worthless warranties. Nature's Stone permanently corrects cracked, uneven concrete, eliminates slipping hazards, and is easy to clean. And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, there are no hidden maintenance costs. Act now and save up to 50% with our volume discount pricing. Must be installed by the end of February. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature's Stone.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Tomorrow night, Hoynesy will be here.
Hoynesy.
Getting
ready for spring training number
pitchers and catchers.
97.
Started, I think, in 83.
What a
1983.
I've always said to Hoynesy, if he ever wanted to, he could write a bestseller.
Oh.
I mean,
He's got some, there's
question.
some stuff going on in that brain.
He knows where the bodies are buried.
No question about it. Friday night will be Weekend Winners with Dave Bacon, and then Monday, hopefully, Brian Anderson will be with us. It's a pretty good birthday date. Hank Aaron, born on this date. Roger Staubach, Roger Over and Out. John-Beilein, coach of the Cavaliers. Roberto Alomar and Cristiano Ronaldo. This is one of the better birthday dates of all time.
I'll throw Linda Manoloff, 1939.
Your mother?
My mom
your late
would
mother?
have been 81 today, and miss her dearly. She loved Les. She loved the show.
Nice.
She loved everything about what you do, and she was a huge sports fan.
Dave in Austin, Texas. Oh, let me give you How Come Quickie. How come if a player who is traded by the Boston Red Sox to the Los Angeles Dodgers placed a wager on the Super Bowl, then mookie-betts? Is that okay?
Yes.
If the guy places a wager, the mookie-betts. Brian reminded me of one of the better ones we had 6 years ago. If Tina Fey married the Cavaliers' Russian center, she'd be Timofey Mozgov.
That's one of your best ever. Yeah.
Okay, anyway, Dave in Austin, I can't use it. It's excellent. It's funny. It's got it all. He says he loves the show. Loves the show and he loves the D-man. Right here. Yeah, I just can't do it. I like doing the show too much.
Yeah.
Right? You agree with me?
Yeah.
It's unanimous? Well, then, Brian, what are you bringing it out to me for?
He's trying for the humor there.
Yeah, but do you think Brian is amiss in bringing it out to me when he knows I'm going to veto it? It's not like Tina Fey Mozgov. All right. Now, here comes a correction from last night. Bud was here. Bud Shaw was here. Stuart, a new contributor last night, started off, and neither of us got it. And now he explains it. It's kind of a visual. All right. His quickie was, how come at a press conference most NFL owners tap dance, but with the Browns it's always a line dance? And what he meant there is, you know how Jimmy-Haslam has been saying he wants everything to align? That was the point. He wants a line dance.
Very nice.
So it's a wording situation. But, you know, with the pressure on us, we couldn't delve into it that much.
Right.
Larry, first-time contributor from La Mirada, California, a suburb of Los Angeles. How come my quickie is, how come they never have sales at 99-cent stores? What are you going to knock it down to, 49 cents?
Yeah.
Larry writes in from La Mirada. He says, keep up the good work, very entertaining and informative for an ex-Clevelander who still avidly follows his hometown teams. Larry, spread the word about us. Toledo Mike has been coming strong lately. How come when the judge said to the drunk, you've been brought in for drinking, and the drunk said, all right, let's get it started.
9.
A 9. That's high praise.
Like Toledo Mike.
Mr. Gullible. How come my friend is addicted to brake fluid, but he says he can stop any time?
We had that a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
It's still good.
Mr. Gullible comes back with this one. How come I have more confidence in my patches of strawberry and blueberry than in Andrew Berry?
Come on,
Low-hanging
Gullible,
fruit.
you're better than that.
Low-hanging fruit. John Patrick. How come I used to be afraid of pretty girls until I realized they were even more afraid of me? You know, they're starting to toe the line, and we got to put a stop to some of these things.
Yeah, it's a family-friendly show.
Yeah. All right, got a couple of minutes. We got a minute. What do you got? You got
that's
anything
enough
left?
time for Tristan-Thompson to get moved, a couple of minutes. I mean, here we are
What's
on the eve
4
of,
o'clock tomorrow? Is that
I believe that's what it is. I knew it was Thursday. I didn't know exactly what time. It sounds as though, all right, so first of all, Thompson had the quad the other day against the Knicks.
Of course he did.
And then today, I think Henson is starting in place of him.
He didn't even make the trip to Oak City.
He did not?
I don't believe that Tristan made it.
Okay, all right, well.
I know he wasn't practicing
It makes
today.
sense. I mean, they're clearly trying to move him.
Yeah.
They probably think they can get more for him than a team's willing to offer. This might go right up till, the hour.
Well, they don't want him getting
of
hurt,
the trade
obviously.
deadline. Right, of course not. It looks like Love is going to be much more difficult to move.
Hey, you know what? I don't
because of
feel
the
sorry for him.
giant
He signed for
contract.
$30 million a year.
Oh, yeah, I feel sorry for the franchise, or for the fans, because the franchise was dumb enough to sign Love for that contract.
You know, you talk
Nobody
about
was forcing the
about
Cavs
culture.
to sign that.
Mostly we hear culture about the Browns. The game the other night against the Knicks, and the Cavs had a 10-point lead with 8 minutes left, I think, or 6 minutes, and they get a technical foul called on them. You're not good enough to get a technical foul with the game on the line.
Les, if it's possible for a 13-38 team to underachieve, that's what these guys have done.
Yeah.
That loss, just the Knicks, they have an 11-game home losing streak. 8 of the games, including 2 against the Knicks, against bad teams, fellow bad teams. But I'll say this, the third quarter that they played against Golden State at home the other night was one of the worst quarters I've ever seen the Cavaliers play, and that includes some of the worst Cavs teams of all time. When they were outscored 44-19.
Right, and I meant the they were never in that game, but the Knicks is the one where they had the lead, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about when you're watching plays where the other team is overtly clowning you.
Yeah.
They're globe-trottering you, and you don't have any idea what you're doing.
Is that Is that John Beilein's fault?
It's a combination of things.
I feel bad for him.
Beilein's having trouble with adjustments, but the players ultimately are responsible. They're not selling out on defense, among other places.
All right, we got to go. When are you next on WTAM?
WTAM would be next week, actually. I'm at PBA Bowling this upcoming Friday and Sunday.
What do you mean? You're bowling
Tournament
in the
of Champions.
tournament?
No, I'm covering it.
Oh, you're covering it.
Tournament of Champions.
Because you're good enough to play in it.
Fairlawn. No. Barely was a decent amateur player a couple decades ago.
You know, Jonathan Peterlin is supposedly a great...
Peterlin?
Yeah, I'll tell you about him in a minute. We'll see you tomorrow night with Paul Hoynes of all the shows I've ever done. This was the most recent.